Hey there, welcome back. So you guys voted on what the next movie review should be, and it was clearly unanimous. You guys wanted me to talk about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which, wow. Can I just say that's the only word I had from after I saw it. So this movie has been getting a lot of crazy rave reviews, positive, just praise all across the board. And let me tell you, after seeing it, yes, it is that good. So this is the sequel to the first Puss in Boots, which came out in 2011. Yeah, a while back. Yeah, it's been a while. So this is the sequel, and you would think, this being a sequel, it would be awful, and it's actually better than the first. Yes, it's better than the first one, hands down. It's actually better than most of the Shrek movies, which is a pretty high bar. Those Shrek movies, pretty fire. Most of them at least. Anyway, this is an hour and 40 minutes. 2022 release, came just kind of near the end of the year, and oh my word, this movie has just been getting so much attention, and it deserves it. I mean, this is the first Dreamworks movie in quite some time, the first Shrek-ish movie in a long time as well, or the first movie in the Shrek universe in a while. So let's just say that. And we follow Puss in Boots once again. It's a very different story, very different to the original. The original movie was good, it just wasn't special. It wasn't like, wow, that was great, or wow, that was fantastic, or it just wasn't like, it wasn't spectacular. It wasn't like magnificent or anything. It was just good. It was a good movie. But this one, it exceeds expectations. I can tell you, I was like on the fence about this, but I went and saw it, and wow, it was amazing. We do have a couple returning faces. Of course, Puss in Boots is once again played by Antonio Banderas, and I think he's probably the best he's ever been in this movie, since Shrek 2, of course, which is when he first appeared. But here, he is just having so much fun, and you can tell just in the opening sequence. So that was great. And then we, of course, have Salma Hayek back as Kitty Softpaws, the legendary thief, who is once again back in Puss's life. And she is fantastic. She's given such great focus, like her story. It's very, like, kind of connected to Puss's life. Like, they're kind of on and off again lovers. They're kind of trying to trust each other, which is part of Kitty's story, which is interesting. And then Puss, of course, he's very arrogant. He's very selfish. Like, he calls himself a fearless hero, but he's not really. He's almost like this vain, just self-absorbed jerk who just wants to live for the glory. And so that's part of the story in this movie. We do have several new characters, and they're all great. So we have a new character, Perito the Dog, who is, of course, probably everyone's favorite, and he is voiced by Harvey Guillén. I think that's right. He does a great job. He's so funny. Like, his backstory is so incredibly sad, but it's just played for so much comedy that you just laugh. It's just very ridiculous. And he doesn't have a home. He was left by his parents and thrown into a river, and he just comes up with this optimistic dog. He has the sock that he had since he was a kid. He gets caught up in Puss in Boots' next adventure, and he finds a family. It's just great, the way that they did that. We have another new character. We have several villains chasing after Puss. Several. And, normally a ton of the villains in these movies, if you have a ton of villains in a movie, it doesn't work. It's too much. But somehow, DreamWorks pulled it off with 3 villains in one movie. So we have Goldilocks and the Three Bears crime family. That's exactly what they say, or what I said. They're a crime family, and they're just funny as heck. Like, their dynamic is so great. And Florence Pugh, one of the best actresses on the planet, plays Goldilocks with this ridiculous yet great accent, this London thick accent, and it just works. It's just so silly, it's great. And then you have Big Jack Horner, who is He's the big bad. He is played by John Mulaney, and he is just so evil. You love to hate this guy. He is just this evil, vile, sadistic, just just so despicable man. And yet he's just so funny. His way of talking is funny as well. And we do have the wolf, the big bad wolf, as a bounty hunter here. And he's also chasing after Puss. Everyone's chasing after him. They do not like him. And he is played by Wagner Moura. Does a great job. Great job voicing this evil wolf who just wants to kill Puss. Everyone does. But the wolf, especially, is this very creepy, evil character. Almost like out of a Western. This whole movie is out of like a Western. It's like a very Western influenced film. The first Puss in Boots was inspired by Mexican cinema, and this movie is very clearly inspired by Westerns, which is very cool to me. Um, and yeah, I'm not gonna name every single character because that'll take forever. But the main story in this movie is that Puss he's on his last life. He's been like recklessly dying, being a hero and just wasting his 9 lives as a cat. He's got 9 lives, and now he's down to his last life. And so he kind of gets this wake up call. This village doctor, who's played by Anthony Mendez, who does a brilliant job. And the one scene is very funny. He tells Puss, he's like, you got to take it serious now. You're gonna die. If you get stabbed or killed or anything, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. You're gone. So it's kind of sets this journey in motion of Puss trying to find himself, trying to find like his real humanity. He's trying to find like what he cares about in life. He's not just some swashbuckler, anymore. He's not how he was in Shrek 2. He's much different in the Shrek series. So he's much more serious now because he could die at any point, and this wolf and everyone's chasing after him. And he finds out that there is this thing called the Last Wish, which is what everyone is after in this film. Goldie, the wolf, Kitty, everyone, Jack Horner. So everyone's after this mythical last wish, which can restore basically anything. It can give you what you want. And so Jack Horner wants the wish to become all powerful, and as villains do, he wants to get all the magic in the world and just be super rich and evil and stuff. And that's his wish. Kitty wants to trust someone. That's her wish. Then Perito, he just wants a family. And that's not even his wish. He just wants to have a family in the first place. So he's there. And then, of course, Goldie wants a true family. So, of course, she's not a bear. So she travels with the 3 bears, but, they're not really her family. They're not her true family. So that's her story. She wants a real family, like her, her parents, who she lost. And so, yeah, that's really everyone's story. And then, of course, Puss is trying to find himself. He's trying to find what he cares about most, not just, recklessly, dying and just being an idiot, which is what the opening scene establishes. And that's the story. They're all trying to get to the wish, and it's very cool. Like, I think the best part about this film is the way it looks. Like, it's very different from the Shrek films. It feels different. It's a very different universe. Obviously, it's the same world as the Shrek universe, but it's just a different look. Like, it's all different. What I like about it is that everyone's going after the wish, but it's almost like this big epic quest, like this epic journey. Everyone's going to the wish, and it just changes locations. We go from like this, watery dock at the beginning, like the governor's mansion, then we go to the enchanted dark forest, and then we go to like this desert world, and then we go to like a green area, grassy plains, and then of course Jack Horner shows up. We get to see his lair, and of course the last wish, the actual area, is very cool. It's a very cool looking place. And then we get to see all these different locations. It's kind of cool. We didn't really see that mostly in the other movies. I mean, in the first Puss in Boots, it was pretty good, but it wasn't like this. This is like super creative. The way they kept changing location, they kept changing it, which is cool. And we didn't spend too much time in one place, which is kind of cool. We kind of keep moving because obviously Puss is, hunted. See, he's being hunted after. So, we got to keep moving. We got to go fast. So that was cool. And I like the way it sounds. The music is excellent. The score, there's even a song that Puss sings at the beginning when he's fighting the giant of Del Mar. That is awesome. The Fearless Hero song is just it's so ridiculous, and yet it sounds so amazing, in my opinion. And it was sung very well. It comes up a couple times, and it's very good. The music is fantastic. The way everyone looks is great. Puss is a little bit different looking than the original movie. It's a little bit different. The animation is definitely different, like especially in the action scenes, which there are several, and they're all fantastic. But whenever the action shows up, it gets very like glitchy, very like very animated, if for lack of a better word, very fast paced. It's almost like Spider Verse. It's taking a cue from Spider Verse, which is great. That movie was great, but it's just a little bit different. And I love the action. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's shot very well, and it's very fast. I love fast action. So that really got me into the movie, which is great. And I like the stories of everyone because everyone has this different wish, and there's also this map to the wishing star. And what's cool about the map is whatever character is holding it, it kind of shows them their path to getting the star, which is kind of cool. I'm not going to spoil, what happens with each character, but, it's just cool to see the different ways that the map shows, what the character wants, which is cool. And yeah, it's just a really well made movie. I was surprised how well they told the story. And like everyone's story is kind of connected to Puss, but kind of not. Like Goldie is kind of separate and the bears, and then you got Kitty and Perito who are different. And it's just kind of interesting. And then the wolf constantly hunting Puss because he's a bounty hunter. That's really cool. I like that they continued Kitty's story and Puss's story from the first movie. Like if you didn't, even if you don't really need to see the first movie or the other Shrek films, but it's nice they give a little bit of a background on what was happening before this film. So that was kind of cool. Um, and yeah, it was so emotional. I think my favorite scene is actually not an action scene. Well, my favorite action scene is the entire opening scene with the mansion, the governor's mansion with the giant and the musical number. That was just amazing. But aside from that, my favorite actual scene is the anxiety attack. I just felt it was so realistic the way that they did it. It was so like tense and so like real, and it felt very emotional, which is great. And I just really like that. And it gave a lot of depth to it. Like it's not just some kiddie film. It actually has a lot of heart and soul into it, which is great. And that was my favorite scene within this film. And the villain gets his just desserts. The way they did the villains was interesting in this film. Like Jack Horner has a bunch of henchmen called the Baker's Dozen. Brilliant. And they all die in vicious and hilarious ways, which I'm surprised that they killed him off in the first place. There's a lot of death in this movie, but it's actually played mostly for laughs, which is kind of how the Shrek movies are. So that's cool. That was fun. I do also want to give a shout out to the character of Mama Luna. So Puss retires kind of at the beginning, and he's sent to live with this cat lady, and that kind of takes up a little bit of the movie. That's where Puss meets Perito. He kind of is just a regular cat. He says goodbye to Puss in Boots. It's kind of funny thing, and that's before everything gets going. So he kind of retires a little bit, and he meets Perito, and I just want to give a shout out to the performance by Davine Joy Randolph. She did a great job. She wasn't in the movie that much, but she did a great job voicing Mama Luna. She's a very crazy lady, which is great. And yeah, everyone did a great job. The Bears did a great job. The actors who voiced them as well. The animation is spectacular looking. It's probably the best looking Shrek universe movie. I think it's definitely the best looking of all of them. And it just has this great story. A lot of great jokes as well. There's a scene where Perito is cursing and it just bleeped out. It's just so funny. It just comes out of nowhere. Like the comedy works, the action works, the emotional scenes are well done, and the music is great. The story where they're all trying to get to the wishing star and the grand finale is so epic and beautiful. There's nothing I can complain at. Well, there's one thing I can complain about. When Puss is going to Mama Luna's house, that whole section when he is there, It feels a little bit slow, but you know what? That's the only bad thing I can say. It's not even that big of a deal. Like, it's just great, and it moves really quickly, but it's not like a fast movie, and it's just a great length. They paced it really well. The director did a fantastic job. If they do more movies like this, more of this, they need to do more of this. At least maybe Shrek 5, maybe just one more. They kind of hinted at it a little bit, so that was cool. But those are my thoughts on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I thought it was epic, just so amazing. If there people are raving about it, go see it. If you're a fan of Puss in Boots at all, you need to see this movie. If you're a fan of Shrek, you need to see it. There's lots of great cameos and references and teases. If you love fairy tales, go see this. If you love animation, if you love all of that, go see this movie, especially in the theater, because you will not be disappointed. I guarantee you. I walked out of this so excited. You got to see it. If you're a fan, you will have a great time. So that's what I thought about the movie. Fantastic. I want to own it. I'm definitely going to buy it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it was terrible? Did you guys like it? What do you think of the future of Puss in Boots? Do you like him? What was your favorite character? One thing I wanted to say, Goldie actually was my favorite character. She was surprisingly my favorite of the whole of the whole bunch. I just wanted to say that. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for voting for this movie. If you want to see more movie reviews, just vote down below or vote in the community poll. But thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you for the next movie review, which hopefully will be very soon. Take care. Have a great one.